Hey, everybody. I am here, totally not together, but I'm here. It's been a day, a good one, not a bad one, but it's been. I'm still exhausted from my week so far, but exhausted in a really good way. I want to say hi to everybody. Hi, Misha, Shannon, Crystal. I saw somebody else making that. Yeah. Misha, Shannon, Crystal. I hope that you're all doing okay. And I wanted to talk about my experiences yesterday going up north, what we say here in Michigan, to Traverse City to support Elijah Goldman, who was a 17-year-old boy who was sent to Atlantis Leadership Academy. Man, one second. Sorry. So, Elijah and his younger sister were adopted when Elijah was 10 from Haiti. And the couple that adopted them lives in Traverse City, Michigan. And they call themselves Christian conservatives. I'm seeing a lot of because I'm trying to be a little diplomatic when it comes to speaking about people. And also, you know me, I have a tendency to mess with the way I look. So what transpired is that the couple were very upset that Elijah was looking at porn. I'm sorry, but he's a pubescent boy. I wouldn't be angry with him. I would discuss it with him. An opportunity to have a conversation. I'm not a parent. Snow White. Do I know you? I don't think I've ever seen your name here, but it's very good to have you. Thank you for joining us. If I do know you and I forgot, I'm sorry. My brain is overflowing out of my ears and the back of my neck. So, and he also wasn't allowed to have a cell phone. So he got busted from his parents for purchasing his own cell phone. And then it happened again. And then, I mentioned this in my last live, just normal teenage stuff, right? His girlfriends and pictures. And it's so minimal when you think about it. And after meeting Elijah yesterday, this kid, it's really one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life was to not sleep Monday night and to drive up 4 hours to Traverse City overnight. And initially I was just going to stand outside when he was coming up to hold signs, which I gave him. I will show you them. Well, that's not how the day went. It was where these people are, helping around with me. Anyway, okay. I'm trying to get in my mood, right? Like normally I'm like so full of passion. I'm exhausted. Exhausted. So forgive me if I'm extremely tame for me. Funny that you asked that, Misha, because he had made a statement, the adopted father. I'm not going to use their names on my live stream. Yes, I know them. Yes, they're public. That's not the point. I don't want people going after them. I don't want anything bad happening. I don't want anything that could cause legal action from being taken for their neglect and abandonment of Elijah, for leading him for 7 months in Jamaica after Atlantis Leadership Academy was not only closed down, it was raided. The people that ran it were arrested, and every other kid was either sent home or to another program. I'm not sure where all the other kids went. There was only 8 kids. I believe there were 8 kids in there at the time. The adopted dad made it. feel like pulling it up right now, but he made a statement saying like, did I mention that they're multimillionaires? Their house alone cost $1.7 million, beachfront home in Traverse City. It's nice up there. It really is. The state of Michigan is gorgeous. And they adopt these two kids from Haiti, and everything's great. And the dad's made a statement, and he said, I'm not a perfect person. I used to be very very angry, and I had rage problems. And I used to watch porn, and I used to do this, and I used to do that. And then I found Jesus Christ. And I'm like, man, you know what? Clearly, you didn't do anything for your anger problems because you beat your adopted son, which was the impetus for sending him to Jamaica. Not only sending him, they gooned him. And this goon who went and got him, take him to Jamaica, when Paris Hilton was bringing him back to the States, because she paid for everything out of her own pocket to get Elijah out of Jamaica. When they were at the airport in Miami, the adoptive parents had sent the same goon to pick him up and transport him to Utah, where he knows nobody. Now, I'd like everybody to keep in mind, this couple still has his younger sister who's 12 years old. I'm sure what happened to her brother, I am not saying anything for certain. I know nothing about this. Pure speculation, not facts when I say this. My feeling tells me that I love Paris too, Misha. I actually just was reminded yesterday. I had forgotten this. Paris is only known about the troubled teen industry a year and a half longer than I've known. And so all that momentum, and I caught her, at like a year and a half of knowing. And that's where I am right now, is a year and a half of knowing, and just how much my life has changed. She has devoted so much time, energy, and money and resources to fighting this. She's got 2 kids now, and she's still keeping up with it. She's still going to Washington. She's still going to all the states. Fantastic. But back to the sister. I believe that what happened to her brother scared her so much that she is probably a perfect child. Traumatized. I can't have anything hiding my flamingo. Traumatized, extremely traumatized, misses her brother, I'm sure. Obviously, they have a relationship. I'm not, again, details. I really, out of respect for Elijah, I'm not. But anyway, I think that she's probably doing okay. Hopefully she has therapy, but I don't think that she gets in any trouble because she's too scared that some man's going to probably come in the house and steal her too. I can't even imagine, I wasn't wounded, and the only sibling I had at the time was a year old. So when I went away, so the amazing thing about yesterday, well, it changed me. I went from being a survivor to being a survivor advocate. And I was contacted, and I'm not going to even pretend that this was my idea. I was contacted by a lady named Rebecca who works at 1111 Impact Media, which is Paris Hilton's nonprofit arm of her company that focuses on the troubled teen industry. And she called me and asked me if I would be interested in going and trying to, get as many people as I could. I only found out on Monday, and it happened yesterday. So I really had like a day and a half to get it together. And so I went on every social. I went into the Traverse City subreddit. I went into the Michigan subreddit, and the Michigan subreddit, I have to say this. The Michigan subreddit posted the article that the Detroit Free Press, Teresa, I want to get her last name. I forget. Teresa, where is it? I'm sorry. Just showing the pictures. Well, anyways, Christy, Izzy, hello. I got my daughter and my sister on the other side of the earth. Good to see y'all. I'm so happy that you're here. Let me try to remember where I was. God, I'm so tired. Oh, so she gave me and I forgot something. I know, Crystal. I agree about the hypocristians. That's my name for them. I don't know if I came up with that or not, but that's what I call them. I did forget to put together a care package for him, but I will do. Because he really likes Kool-Aid, candies, and I also kind of wanted to get some cards of support. My previous live stream that I did, and a couple of you were here. I believe I addressed Elijah directly because I knew Rebecca had told me, and that he was going to watch it, but of course they didn't have him watch the part where I went through the whole story, because I wouldn't want to see that if I was him, especially not the night before court hearing. And so this hearing was in regards to whether or not, Rebecca. And then Rebecca got me in touch with Elijah's lead attorney, and her name is Dawn Post. And this woman is a champion for children. She practices in New York, so he also has a Michigan attorney who does, sit at the desk with him during all the proceedings. But it was planned that I was going to, make some signs and pull some people together, and I got some people from the Traverse City area. Obviously, nobody else in the middle of the week from the Detroit area is going to be able to drive 4 hours up, to be in the parking lot of the courthouse at 7:45 in the morning. But me being me, I was up in the car at 2:30 in the morning. I got there at 7, changed my clothes, put a little makeup on, just a little, because I love makeup, but whatever. It's not, none of this was about me. And that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about in this video, is this issue that I'm having, because I was interviewed and featured in the follow-up. Well, I'm proud to know you too, Misha. You're silly. But I was interviewed by the Free Press and by Up North Live. I'm going to show you both. One's a news article, one's a video. But I want to make it really clear. This isn't about me. None of this is about me. I understand people, saying the nice things that they're saying to me for doing this, but I live for this, right? If I'm not helping survivors, what am I doing? Sitting in my trauma? I don't want to do that. If I want to be the change, I have to get out there and make the change, right? I have to be willing to do anything and everything to help survivors, and I am. It was very emotional. I met some really wonderful people. In fact, there were some of his, Christy. Wow, I love you all too, very much. Did you guys get notifications or not? I'm not sure. And did you check your subscriptions? Because I don't. Hang on a second. Sorry, I just needed to send a message to somebody. So I'm there, and apparently, so there's actually 2 courthouses next to each other. I just happened to be in the parking lot, and holding my signs. I'm talking to the journalists that were there, well, at the time it was only the photographer from the Free Press, Audrey, and then Allie from Up North News. And then they talked to me, and I was like, oh, this is really awkward. And then some of the people that had come to support started showing up, and it was really, it was cool. And I was like, okay, where is what's happening? And okay, cool, thank you. I'm glad to hear that you guys cut. There's Jamie. That's who I was texting. I just wanted my buddy. So, Jamie, I'm just talking about yesterday and what happened going up to Traverse City and everything that happened. Right now, it's like 8:15 in the morning. And then I knew immediately who it was. I see this beautiful, you got a late notification, but at least you got a notification. So that is just awesome. Thanks, Christy. So I see a really well-dressed woman in all black skirt suit, and her hair is all white and short, except that she's got like some blue and red and purple right here. It's absolutely gorgeous. And that's Dawn, the attorney. She came to get me. And so we're walking, and there was one of the ladies that said that she had read the thing, so that's why she came up. Her name's Terry. Amazing woman. More about Terry later. So Dawn and I are talking, the whole time walking up to court and everything, and she's like, so kind of just giving me the brief rundown of what's going on. And it's basically it was a hearing to determine whether or not CPS would take custody of Elijah and if the adoptive parents would agree to it. Big shocker. They agreed. So we walked into the courthouse, and the deputy was sitting at the metal detector. It's like, oh, you can't take those in there. I'm like, I'm not going to hold them up. He's like, you can't take them. Okay. I'm like, can I leave them here? Because they're important, and I need to give them to somebody in the building. He's like, yeah, it's fine. I said, please don't throw them away. They're sentimental. Please don't. And he didn't. So that was really awesome. I did not. Oh no. So we all went in together, and then we went upstairs and we were waiting, and we didn't know what was happening. But as it turns out, there was some negotiating or mediating happening between the parties' attorneys. And so we all went and sat in the courtroom. First, one of the, I don't know if it was a magistrate or a judge, but the first lady came in and said she had said something about that it was going to be a couple of minutes because they were still talking. Well, that's emancipation, no, as it turns out, but I wait for it. It's a good story. I'm just having a really hard time telling it today because I'm really not awake at all. But so we're all sitting there, and I've got Allie from Up North News to the right of me by the door, and on my left was Terry, the lady I told you about. And we kept talking, and she had already gotten out of me like why I was there, and I said, well, I'm a survivor, and I'm here to let Elijah know that he is believed, because the adoptive parents to this day do not believe what happened to him, because that's what denial looks like. They don't want to take responsibility for their actions, and unfortunately, that happens quite a bit. And well, I'm really sorry that you had to go through that, and it's so great that you drove all the way up here from Detroit. I'm like, what's that? I mean, it was 12 hours. You figured 4 hours driving up there, 4 hours driving back, 4 hours there. So, I mean, it wasn't really that big of a deal. And then she's like, I want to give you something. And I was like, no. And she's like, well, I am anyways. And she had this pin. I should have grabbed it off my purse, but it's on my purse. She grabbed this pin that she was wearing on the lapel of her blazer. And it said, empowered women empower women. I still didn't know who Terry was. I just thought that she read in the Facebook group that people were getting together. So I hugged her and I thanked her. And then the other judge came in and we got up. And then there was this big scene that the judge made with Teresa. Well, actually, with all three people from the press, saying that the issue was that they basically, I don't even believe that it was the court. The adoptive parents didn't want press in there, right? They didn't want press in the room. Well, they were in the room. You know, they just took their stuff outside and came back in. And Teresa, I have to say, very, very proud of her for standing up and speaking to the judge and saying, listen, I turned in, you know, my credentials and my I don't know, all this legalese stuff. I apologize. You think I would remember that, but it's okay. I did everything that I was supposed to do. So I don't understand why, you know, why I can't be here. And it's back and forth. And finally she was just like, fine. If we take our stuff out, can we just come back in? And he agreed, because they do have a right to be there. You know, I believe the parents are definitely getting adoptive parents. They're not parents for them. Is that, you know, money talks, and, you know, it's a small town. It's a tourist town, but it's a small town for as far as like people who live there. It's a small town. It's a wealthy town. So I believe that was their request, was no live coverage of the hearing. And then they walked in. And I knew as soon as I turned to the door and I saw them, somebody give these people an Emmy, because they played the victim card so well that it was pathetic. It was really, I mean, bad. Like, I'm talking like Real Housewives drama kind of, you know, they come in and he's holding her up, you know, please. Do you have any idea what you put this child through and continue to put this child through? And you're going to walk in like you're the pathetic, poor adoptive parents that just, you know, took in this terrible kid and he's caused them so much pain. Give me a freaking break. I mean, it's gross. It's disgusting. And she kept her head down. I looked that man right in his eyes, straight in his eyes, because I wanted him to see me. And then they took their seats, and the very short hearing followed, which was basically that the parties agreed that there would be no pretrial hearing, and that custody, that Elijah would be under the custody of CPS, and that he was going into foster care. And at first I freaked out. Oh my gosh, now he's going to go to a foster home. And those are just as bad, almost as bad as troubled teen industry programs are. And I thought, no, we can't. Well, I didn't know that there was already somebody, a retired teacher, who had come forward and offered to foster him. She had never fostered before. Her daughters are grown. And it's Terry, the lady that I've been talking to the whole time. And I found out because the quick hearing was, okay, we waived the pretrial hearing. CPS will take custody. He'll be put into this place, which I won't say, while CPS can do background check, a house check, and everything for Terry, so that he could then then moved in with her. And so now they're going to trial. And that starts September 23rd. I will be there on Monday. Best believe I'm going to be there because these people need to be charged with neglect, abuse, and abandonment. I don't care if you picked that kid up from the woods and signed papers and said that they were yours. That's your kid. You bought and paid for him, right? You signed the papers. You bought him and his sister, brought him over from Haiti. And I know what that sounds like, and I mean it in the way towards them that I mean it. You know, not doing it, everything. That's annoying. I just see so many people, wealthy people, adopting children. And I will tell you that adoptees, like adopted children, make up a good portion of kids in the troubled teen industry. Meg Applegate, who runs Unsilenced, is adopted. And it does play a part, but it definitely plays a role when your adopted parents say, no, you can't come back here. Just stay in the foster home in Kingston, Jamaica. How many of you know what Kingston, Jamaica is like? I do. Kind of like Detroit, only it's in Jamaica. You know, that's not, and they don't, you know, he had just, been learning language over 5 years before they started sending him away. Yeah, here, I definitely, yeah, it does stay with you your entire life, and I think that everything depends on, how they approach it and everything. But Elijah was 10 when he was, yeah, I do too. I know that they're able to have a relationship. They do have a relationship, so that's really good. She only has 6 years left with him, and who knows, maybe when he turns 18, if he's doing well, he can petition for her to live with him. I don't know. I don't know any of that stuff. So after the hearing, I went out into the vestibule area with everyone, and people, we were all mingling and talking, and I met Elijah's guardian ad litem. He's a temporary guardian through CPS. Really nice guy. Met some of his former teachers. Met a friend of his and his parents. Came to support, and finally got to have like a full conversation and hug with Elijah. I watched her video. I said, "Thank you so much. I can't believe it. You came all the way here." He couldn't. He when they showed him the video, he asked why people care, and I know that feeling. People care because we want to be the adult we didn't have, or at least I can speak for myself. My intention is to be the adult that I needed and never had. And that was the gift that I got to give to Elijah. So Elijah filled me in on that he was going to temporarily go to a place, and then that he was going to be staying with Carrie. And I turned around and she was right there, and she said, he had to tell you. Legally, I couldn't tell you anything. She's like, this really cute act, and I totally believed her that she was just there because she heard about it, and what a terrible thing. Well, she did hear about it, but she didn't just hear about it. She heard about it, and she took action, and she said, "I'll foster him." I was gonna say I'll foster him, but I don't want him living in Detroit because he wouldn't be able to get the level of education in Detroit through the public school system because they don't get enough money, and their books are outdated, and it's just really sad that they don't. The teachers do the best that they can, but the buildings are crumbling, and it's just not good. But I absolutely would have fostered him, not even thinking about it. But But yeah, I agree about Terry. Thank God for Terry. She is just, oh, this is interesting. Whether you have a fairy tale home life or not, the primal wound is real. I agree. I agree. I wasn't adopted, and yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. So, anyways, we've got a few things to cover in regards to this. I want to share. I want to now when I show you this photograph of me holding the sign, I want to make it clear that we were smiling and talking and laughing. She said, "Do you mind if I start, taking some pictures?" And I was like, "No, not at all." And so she started taking pictures, and she said, "Could you look more serious?" And I was like, "Oh yeah." And so this is what happened. This is the result. But first, I'm going to show you. So this is Elijah right here. That's one of the two signs that I made special for him. And he's pointing at it. I wasn't there. Hi Janet. I had already left. Things were starting to get. Oh no! At a certain point, pretty quickly, we were all out talking in the vestibule area. They rushed the adopted parents out the side door, and I saw it. And I was just going to go outside and hit my vape because it wasn't an easy thing to do to be there in that situation, keep my mouth shut, make sure that then stop commenting, Janet, if you're driving. Hi, Alexi. Yeah, stop texting. Janet, please. You're bad as me. So I stepped away from the elevator because I thought they were coming for the elevator, and then Dawn says they took him out. They took him out the side stairwell. I was like, really? All right. So I went downstairs. On my way out the door, I grabbed my signs. I went over to where I knew that the parents were going to be. I call them that. The Goldmans. I knew where they were going to be driving out of, and I went over and stood there they had two lawyers, so they had driven separately. So each attorney had me holding up the sign and the Goldmans. And I was like John Cusack and say anything with the boombox. I'm standing there with my arms up and this thing out. Yeah, see this. You don't believe him, but we believe him. And I had to text Rebecca after that and ask her, was that okay that I did that, or was that wrong? She's like, no, you're good. It was fine. So that felt really amazing. And then I went back up and we were talking for a little bit, but I could tell that things were starting to, kind of get serious and down to business, and getting Elijah out of the courtroom, out of the hotel room, place where he's going to be temporarily so that everything can get rolling and everyone can talk and get to know each other. So I excused myself. I want to highlight this really quick. As he says, having people in a place that are safe, that are home, it's a basic need, and should be a human right. I'm happy he has people who believe and care about him. I am too. And I will say that it started with Paris Hilton and Chelsea Maldonado. Getting her last name right. Everybody knows who Paris Hilton is. I don't have to explain to you who Paris is, but Chelsea and Paris. Chelsea had been at Tranquility Bay, Jamaica, which was the girls' arm of that. These were both WASP programs. So any of you who watch the program on Netflix, those are the places in Jamaica that they're talking about during that docuseries. Tranquility Bay and Atlantis Leadership Academy. That's where Elijah was. And so Chelsea and Paris had gone there when all of the boys were still there. and obviously they kind of took special interest in Elijah because the kids were pretty quickly leaving and nothing was happening for Elijah. Could you imagine basically being in a juvenile jail for 7 months in a foreign country as an American citizen? Because, by the way, Elijah's an American citizen. They were negotiating bringing him in through the Refugee Act, and it was why would he have to do that? He's an American citizen. Why can't he just fly home? And then the Goldmans claim that they were advised not to go there, and I imagine that they were advised by the counselor who talked them into sending him away in the first place. But I have a feeling it wasn't too hard to talk them into it. You know what I'm saying? They may have even gone looking for it. Like, oh, buyer's remorse. Let's get rid of this one. Yeah. So I excused myself and I went. I had to go to the bay and just let my feet sink into the water. Traverse City Bay is it's an inlet of Lake Michigan, and I stood there and I let my feet sink into the sand. I love that feeling, the water rushing up, and with every time the water rushes up, your feet sink a little bit more, and it's a ground. I know it's a grounding thing. It's for me, it's my favorite way of grounding, and it comes from when I lived in Florida. I did that every day in Florida. I would ground myself in the ocean because grounding myself in the ocean, I felt like I felt more connected to the whole world, not just myself and what was going on in my little miserable world. I was in touch with the entirety of the earth, because you're touching an ocean, you're touching the whole world. I don't know. It might be tippy dippy, but whatever. I don't care. So this is the article, the follow-up article that Teresa did. Just explaining. So, see that there's my name. It's just really sweet. So Elijah's lawyers and parents consented. I don't like calling his parents, but legally they are. They consented to him being placed in custody of Child Protective Services pending the outcome of his neglect and abandonment case. And that is what we are doing on the 23rd. And I'm just attending, and what they're doing on the 23rd. And this is really great right here. Just let me do it this way so that I don't have to look sideways. So this is Scott. He's really cool. There's Elijah and his lawyer guardian ad litem, Justin. These guys are so cool. Like, so Scott is, I want to get this right, but I believe it's Scott knows him because his son is friends with him. So that is that picture, and it's explained, and then so he is a track. He's a runner. He is so passionate about track, and he just cannot wait to get back to that. And I'm so excited. And this is okay. Can we just talk about this picture first of all? What? I feel like I look wrinkly, absolutely horrible, but I'm the worst critic of myself. I'm actually very proud of that. Both of the posters, but that one especially, because that was the thing that really like pierced my heart, was that the parents to this day do not believe any of them. They are so brainwashed, which is obvious because they so easily, found themselves, in Jesus. And listen, I'm just talking about how I look at myself, and thank you guys. Yeah. So she took that picture as soon as she said, she took multiple pictures, and she took this picture right after she said, "Could you look serious?" And I said, "Oh yeah." And I made that face, and she caught it. And it says the thing about, thank you. Yeah. So I really love this because what I used was paint markers, and let it bleed a little bit so it kind of looks a little watercolory. And what this says is Jen Marie Newton, 54, of Hamtramck, hold a sign outside of the Robert T. Griffin Hall of Justice before a hearing regarding Elijah's regarding Elijah's case in privacy on Wednesday. Newton heard about Elijah's case and traveled from Hamtramck at 2:30 a.m. to be at the hearing in support of him. Newton was wrongly placed in several rehabilitation institutions while growing up and still healing from the trauma. She said, "My entire goal in this life is to reach younger survivors and help them heal sooner than I did." And that's the fact. That is my goal and my purpose. This is the Goldmans. Not really gonna really focus much on them. Here you go. So this is right. So this is that's right. Scott was his former teacher, and the lady in the white, I believe, also is a former teacher of his. And I think it's pretty spectacular, especially in high school, that teachers are willing to stand up and say, no, this is wrong. And this is, I mean, both of the articles that Teresa did are just absolutely amazing. Oh, there's Dawn. So right here, that's Michelle, his Michigan lawyer, Michelle Bostic. And then this is Dawn. Dawn Post Esquire on Twitter. I retweet her a lot. She's amazing. I dig her so much. And this, I love this picture. I absolutely love this picture. This woman hadn't slept in days. She put her heart and soul into this, and she's not done. And this is everybody walking. Oops, here. This is everybody walking away. And the only issue that I took with the article was that Teresa was calling them boarding schools. So I emailed her, and I know I love the humans too. They're amazing. I just love when humans do the right thing. And I'm just honored that for whatever reason, however it happened, that I was able to do this, to be asked to do this. Not like that I had to be pressured or anything. I was like, absolutely, not a question. I went out, I got the poster boards, and came home and worked on the signs, and kept putting on Reddit and Discord and Facebook and Twitter and everywhere that I could think of, for people to show up, because hearing the story from Elijah, well, hearing it initially from Rebecca, saying how he just felt so alone and broken because nobody believed him. And I thought, I cannot wait to introduce him to the survivor community. And I'm gonna, once he's with Terry, he's gonna have the ability to use the internet and have a cell phone and interact with other survivors, because there are other survivors his age in the unsilenced Discord, and also the Troubled Teens subreddit. And I want him to be able to interact with other survivors his own age. And for all I know, wait, what is this? Your story is becoming another person's survival guide. Thank you for being strong enough to be you. Well, I don't like the alternative, so I'm going to be me. I pretended like I was something that I wasn't for way too long, and I don't have the energy for that anymore. I mean, I have somebody sitting in the other room that's known me for 35 years and can tell you, right? So, she's not hearing. She just got back from Colorado last night, so she's pretty tired. So I also have, if you all are interested, you keep being you, Jamie. I'm so happy that you got my message and that you showed up. Things feel a little bit more normal with the people around that I'm used to talking to all the time. Well, at least one of you. And that is not a dig on everybody, man. It's all love. I get that we have lives, but thank you, Jamie. I love and appreciate you. So I'm going to show you the news story from Up North Live. And I'm pretty impressed because I am also in this. But again, like I said, having any of the attention on me or praise to me about this is making me really uncomfortable. I'm sure it's my trauma that's doing it and my insecurity, because I know that there's plenty of you that think that I am really confident and secure. No. I'm an imposter. I wear masks. But I am who I am now. And I think that now that I found my purpose, I'm so authentic now. I mean, blunt and brutally sometimes. And I make no apologies to people that I am blunt and brutal to. So we're going to watch this from Up North Live. This is Allie covering this story. I don't know if we're going to have an ad. Yeah, there's going to be an ad. So let me just mute the ad. And then we're going to watch this. And I'm going to go away. Why didn't it? Hang on. Why is it? Hang on a second. I don't know. Hang on. It wasn't showing the video. So let me. There we go. Okay.
From Jamaica to Florida to home in Traverse City. That was the journey for 17-year-old Elijah Goldman, who then learned that his adoptive parents who sent him to a Jamaican boarding school did not want him to come home. This was after Jamaican authorities removed Elijah and several others from the school because of abuse allegations. Our Allie Baxter breaks down the case.
Elijah's attorneys say he's a survivor of the troubled teen industry. Those are expensive programs structured like a boarding school, specifically for kids with behavioral issues. Elijah was sent to one of those in Jamaica. He and others were later removed from Atlanta's Leadership Academy by Jamaican officials for abuse allegations. Officials gave parents 60 days to get their children home. When no plans were made to come pick up Elijah, he became permanent custody of Jamaica.
No one believed that the abuse actually occurred, despite documented physical injuries and despite their handwritten statements, despite the fact that 5 people were criminally charged with abuse in Jamaica. So Elijah languished there for all these months, and we were going through extraordinary efforts trying to figure out a way to bring him back. At one point, it was even suggested to me that we bring him back through the Office of Refugee and Resettlement, ORR, which he's an American citizen. Like, why are we talking about him being treated as a refugee?
They did figure out a way, which led to a hearing in Grand Traverse County's family court Wednesday. I was in the courtroom. Myself and other media were not allowed to videotape the hearing. Here's what happened. The hearing was waived and Elijah will be in foster care for placement. His attorney tells me that's exactly what she was hoping would happen.
So Elijah's been living, honestly, for over 7 months in uncertainty. He even wrote his own emails to the department saying, I now just turned 17. What's my plan? He's always waiting for the shoe to drop, because things are constantly changing day to day to day. And all he needs and wants is normalcy.
More than a dozen people showed up for the hearing this morning. People who knew Elijah from school and others who say they know what it's like to be in these troubled teen programs.
I would like him to know that he is not alone, that we support him and that we believe him. That's the most important thing, is that we believe him.
Elijah's attorney tells me she feels confident a good foster care placement for Elijah was found. After Wednesday's hearing, the court was told there would be a pretrial next. The court has to legally approve the parents' abandonment of Elijah. A date for that hasn't been set yet. In northern Michigan, I'm Allie Baxter reporting.
Yeah, so that made me cry. Wait a moment. So the lady in white that you see Elijah talking to, that's scary. And it was true at the time when Allie said that there wasn't a date, but now we have the date. And if they don't find these people guilty of neglect, abuse, and abandonment, I don't know. I know I will personally be very not. He's really special. Being able to talk to him and encourage him and share with him the importance of knowing that he's not alone. There's too many of us, but he has a community behind him of people all over the world, mainly in the United States, but there's a whole community of people who care and believe in. And yes, we believe you, Elijah. I want to do hashtags we believe you, Elijah, and justice for Elijah. I started doing the justice for Elijah on Twitter. I think I might have forgotten today. But if any of you see my stuff on Twitter and you want to quote my post or whatever and do a justice for Elijah, I think that would be really helpful. I did write to Teresa from the Free Press because in her article, she wrote, she was calling them boarding schools. She was not using the terminology troubled teen industry. And while we have people's attention, because attention wanes, right? People have such a short attention span now. We have people's attention. You have to call them what they are. You can't just say it's a boarding school, because then people will be like, oh, okay, well, we have to watch what boarding schools is. No, it's not a boarding school. It's a congregate care facility. Troubled teen industry program. Okay? I'm making that very clear for anyone in the world that watches this video. It's not a freaking boarding school. It's an abusive prison. And it's abusive here, here, and here. You can heal, but it never leaves you. Plus, he has the added insult and trauma of being abandoned for 7 months in a foster care center in Jamaica. I want to read this. You give me confidence to fight. I get that. I get uncomfortable too. Well, I know you do, because you never even show your face, which personally actually kind of drives me crazy. So I want to see you. But that's just a me thing. Personally, though, it feels good to know there are others out there doing the damn thing, fighting for those who aren't being heard. If you would have asked me 2 years ago if I thought that I would be sitting here discussing being a survivor advocate and rushing to the side of a 17-year-old boy, it's just so that he knew that he was believed, supported, and not alone, I would have said, yes. And I'm still not quite grasping it, but I know that my life changed this week again, and in a really, really great, the most positive way. I've already reached my goal. Within the first 4 weeks of having my channel, a survivor who didn't know they were a survivor and watched the video and reached out to me. A mother who was, had sent her daughter to a troubled teen industry program, that did reached out to me. I mean, I've had several people reach out to me via email. So technically I already hit my goals. So I had to make new goals. I mean, I know what the purpose is. The purpose is all about ending the troubled teen industry and helping survivors heal and live the very best life that we can live, because we all deserve that, including me. And I don't know what comes next, but I am so ready for it. I'm so here for it. I can't wait. I really, well, thank you, Jamie, for saying that. I need a video full of my face, but I know. I didn't see that video, but I believe you. Well, thank you. But again, like, it makes me uncomfortable to say thank you, because this is about Elijah. This is about Dawn. This is about it's about all of us. It's about all of us survivors, because I'm about to show you the subreddit for troubled teens. And yeah, here we go. This is also Nisha. I spent hundreds of hours looking into resources for my daughter for our family back in 2007 to 2011. Not one time did I hear about TTI, not once. Of course you didn't. How many of you only heard about it when you became friends with me? I'm curious. Okay, I want to share this because I was able, oh, here, hang on, I want to be here. So get this. The story made it to the New York Post. Here's something really ironic, is that Dawn reached out to many news agencies, and none of them were interested. What a shock. Mainstream media doesn't want anything to do with it. But Teresa, the Free Press, was like, absolutely. And she nailed it with the first article. It was powerful. And if I haven't shared it with you, I will share actually both of the articles and the video in my community tab on my channel, because it's important. So they basically, and then so I noticed, so everything comes from Teresa's original article, but they mention USA Today, NBC News. It's amazing that this is happening. So this is why, I just wanted to show you that real quick, but this is why I feel that it's so important. Maybe it's okay, Nisha, don't say sorry. Oh, you, Jamie, well, you make a big difference in my life too. I consider you a very good friend. So we have a couple of other interesting items of note. I know they're not about Elijah, but they are about things that I've covered before. The first one is Charles Carolina property is up for sale now amidst the lawsuit. And they're in the middle of the investigation on who's going to be charged with what. But it's pretty funny that it's check it out. It's weird. I thought, oh, here. There it is. So they're selling it. This is where this is, oh shoot. Is it not did it not change pages for you? Hang on. I don't know why that's doing that. Let me get back in there. So, oh, I was on a different page. I wanted to show you this. The importance of showing you this is, let me start this. The important thing about this photograph is that if you look at the majority of troubled teen industry programs, this is literally what it looks like. It's surrounded by forests, mountains, water, whatever. So, this place, and since this was a wilderness camp, and I want you to remember, it's not just Clark who died in February. 10 years ago, Alec Lansing died because he ran away and he got lost. It was winter. They didn't tell authorities for 12 days and he froze to death. They got charged like $15,000 or something, a fine for that, which is disgusting. I don't understand at all. All right, so let's stop this one. And okay, I want to answer Nisha's question. Are they going to be giving funds from that sale to the victims? It's a really good question. I think it depends on the outcome of the lawsuit, but they better. They better. Listen, Clark's family doesn't need anything. They're very wealthy, New York, like Manhattanites. Don't worry about their financial situation. They did lose their son, but they also had him groomed and sub there, and he was 12. So how bad could he have been? I don't know. Okay, so that is that article. They're not really articles, and then we've got. So we've got. Where did the one go about? I thought that I saw. Maybe it was in Discord. I think it was in Discord. So never mind. I'm done presenting anything. But there was another article, whatever you want to call them, a post about CEDU. A CEDU is the Charles E. Diedrich University, which technically was the second troubled teen industry program. The SEED was the first, but it all came from cinema. Well, Chuck Diedrich was the founder and dictator of Cinnamon, and they had already had a kids' school technically. So CEDU was already, it wasn't called CEDU, but he saw that the one guy opened up the SEED. He left Cinnamon and opened up the SEED. And he was like, no, this is my idea. I'm going to open a place and make money off of it. That's the, I don't know if CEDU was the first place that Paris went to, but it was one of the four. Anyways, the reason I'm bringing up CEDU is one of the fires in California right now that's burning is, let's say, dangerously close to CEDU, the buildings. And unfortunately, neighborhoods have been built around it since. It's been a while since it's been closed down. But it's in the line of fire. I tweeted to Paris and Caroline Cole. CEDU is about to burn down. Girls trip? Question mark. Because I mean, obviously it's terrible, and not about CEDU, but about the neighborhoods and the homes and the people that live in those homes. And the wildfires are just terrible, but I have a feeling that it might be pretty therapeutic for the survivors of that place to watch it burn to the ground. I don't know, maybe we can get like somebody to do a like drone and do some drone footage. That'd be pretty phenomenal. What do we got going on here in the chat? Yeah. Absolutely, they should. You know what I see when I look at that? Tons of obstacles, barriers, etc. for the children to battle through, and it crushes my heart. I mean, honestly, I can't breathe sometimes, and I have nightmares about other kids now, not just me. You know, I mean, obviously, I have my nightmares and my night terrors and stuff, but I have nightmares about knowing that there's hundreds of these places open, full of kids, most of whom, really honestly, none of whom should be there. Because even if kids are using drugs and or alcohol, dangerous, there's alternative. There's other ways. There are other ways that you can treat. Mary Jones, our friend, has got a channel called Blessed Crochet. Her daughter, they do community-based or at-home-based, which is also considered community-based treatment for her daughter, and they do it at home, and it's beautiful. I'm going to get to that in a second, Misha, because that is absolutely my point. In every video, I do like to remind people that the troubled teen industry is a $23 billion a year industry. People are paying $23 billion a year to have their children's lives ruined. Most of them parents. Most of the parents, they don't know. And if they knew, they would have not sent their children there to begin with. I know parents who struggle really hard with the guilt of that. And I have a couple that I've become friends with, and I've told them, as a survivor myself, like, I don't feel like you should feel guilty. You are also victimized because you're the mark, right? So this is like what you call a long con, right? So this is, and you enlist counselors like mine that get paid under the table for referring. It's almost like how Big Pharma sends their reps to doctor's offices. So these companies talk to counselors, therapists, psychologists, and IEPs, special ed counselors and teachers at schools, and they pay them to refer kids. So it's a benefit to them. The more kids that they could, yeah. All right, so I want to read what Izzy said because this is important. They did the same to Indigenous kids through residential schools. They already know what kind of outcome these facilities cause. They cannot claim ignorance. No, they cannot, and they still do. They still do this to Indigenous children in the United States and in Canada. Mainly in Canada, the troubled teen industry is focused on Indigenous children. And it's disgusting. Yeah, and this money should never be made on children. Absolutely. They're not commodities. They're humans. And, they're not grown adults in children's bodies like Scientology believes. We're children. We're malleable. We're so open to every single thing. So everything we take in, it's going to stay with us forever. And if it's negative, man, I can tell you from my own personal experience, it is so hard. It is so hard. To quote Pretty Woman, one of my favorite movies, one of my favorite movie quotes, one of my favorite quotes. When asked why she couldn't take a compliment or believe in something good, she says, bad stuff is easier to believe. That's true. I bet you everybody here can relate to that as a woman. Crystal, my darling Crystal, it's incredibly cathartic to hear that a place of abuse has been burned down. The people who bought the farm I grew up on burned one of the buildings. It was the one I was in. Oh, right. I'm sending you all my love, Crystal. You're a sweet soul. You're a warrior. And I look very forward to the 17th and speaking with you and Kim. I think it's going to be really great. I also definitely, I think that you should come onto my channel too. Right. So this is also important to finish that story. Where she got after being messy. This also happens lots. You have a lot of grown men that really are not trained. They get paid low wages, so you get what you pay for, right? And these people, and I'm not talking about every person who works in a program facility, but I'm talking about a good chunk of them. Some of them, like actually male or female, get off on being cruel to people. Just like I believe that prison COs are like that, corrections officers. Not all of them, again. And cops, listen, 40% of domestic abusers in the United States are in law enforcement. Look it up. It's a fact. There is something about these types of jobs that draw cruel and abusive people because they have positions of power. And when you're in a position of power, you can do anything. And when that thing is to destroy a person's entire being and any shred of confidence or happiness right out of them, you got to ask yourself what kind of person can do that for any amount of time. But these programs have a lot of turnover. There's a lot of turnover in the program. rather than just parenting as they should. I'm so blessed that my kiddo turned out as amazing as she is. I regret those days, of course. Thankfully, we were blessed to find a facility that was helpful for her. I was up there constantly. I was involved. Yeah, see, that's how you know it's not a troubled teen industry program, because you were allowed to be involved and to go there. I'm sure it was hard as a single mom. My poor mom had no say. My mom had absolutely no say. She did not want me to go. It was just, here you go. Overworked, underpaid, once good-hearted, evil finds a way to bring itself out for many reasons. Yes, those are all true as well. But there are people that are just abusive, period, and bent on power. I mean, I see it in cops everywhere. I mean, any tiniest of little situation and a cop will escalate it in like half a second. It happened to me about 4 weeks ago. We have a few homeless guys, and they hang out across the street. Partly, I think, because I'm one of the people that looks after them. I've gotten them all Medicaid cell phones, so they can contact their families and stuff, and get them food and stuff when I can help, and take them downtown when they need services and stuff, because they could walk downtown, but it's summer, or when it's your mother, it's just not good. But the cops rolled up on them, 2 cruisers deep, screaming and yelling and throwing them, the one up against the squad car, and I just woke up, and he arrested them. I mean, I get it, it's illegal to drink alcohol in public, but the way that they did it was disgusting, and I'm screaming out. I did record it, but I was in my bedroom, so it's all like through a screen, and basically all you can hear is me screaming things at the cops. They were, honest, but maybe not necessarily nice. I'm like, this is how you treat our homeless neighbors? That's, it's disgusting. But anyway, I'm seeing it in everyday patrol cops. They're just so quick to escalate. And I feel like it's almost like our planet's become a pressure cooker. And it's just, everybody's, it's like on the edge of exploding. And I know that I got way off of the point of this whole video, but blame it on my ADD. That's all I gotta say. What do we got here? Not the first place she went to, unfortunately, but I thank God that we have always been open with each other. My kids have problems. All kids do. Shuffling off our kids is never the answer. Yeah. Thank you for caring, and thank you for supporting me, and thank you for being my friend. All of you. And it goes for all of you. Jamie and I have a very special friendship. We talk pretty much every day, and have done for about 8 months now. And the rest of you, I'm so grateful that I cherry picked you from the place that I no longer associate myself with. But I'm really happy to have met most of the people that I've met through there, and namely y'all that are here right now. Misha, Crystal, really, I met you, Crystal, through Carol. She was doing the daily meeting. But everybody else, Janet, who else was here and probably either is just listening or, Janet was driving. That's right. Izzy is my internet daughter. We had a great conversation earlier today. I love this girl and her baby girl like they are my child and grandchild, and I'm not kidding. I'm nobody's mom, but I'm a universal mother. And I did steal half of that from Sinead O'Connor, but she was a mother. But she had an album and a song called Universal Mother. And yes, this is great. Yes. I'm thankful for everybody too. We are growing a village, and we are going to remind people that leading with kindness and caring for others and speaking out when we see things that are wrong is the best way to live. And if the events of the last three days have taught me anything, it's that children should always be believed. Straight face. Children should always be believed. And if you feel that they're lying to you, get them a good therapist that they can trust and that they can talk to, who doesn't run back and tell you every single thing that the kid said. You know, I was thinking about things that I went through that, but just be kind. I went to Trader Joe's today, went grocery shopping, and the cashier was the sweetest girl. Her name was Brianna, and she had braids right here, and then she was wearing a headband that was like gold butterflies, and she had earrings on that were butterflies, and then she had her hair was very curly, and she had butterflies all in her hair, and then she had these great bright red shoes and orange socks that matched her shirt, and she had this beautiful tree of life necklace that a former coworker had made for her, and her spirit just shined, and she was amazing. Like, Heather and I hugged her when we left, and she did this. She gave us each a bouquet of flowers, which I don't even know. I don't even know what to say. I just think that maybe I accepted something or had some kind of breakthrough or something, but things are, and I'm not, here's the funny thing. Usually I wouldn't say this because I would be too afraid to jinx it. Good things are happening to me and for me, and opportunities are yeah, she's a total sweetheart. I told her, she told us she doesn't work Tuesday and Wednesday. So I'm not going to any other Trader Joe's anymore, and I'm not shopping on Tuesday or Wednesday because I want to be there when Brianna's working, because what a great kid. And I totally forgot to tell the manager. I think that when I get done here, I'm going to call the store and compliment her to the manager, because I think that doesn't happen enough. People complain about servers, bartenders, retail workers, grocery workers, any workers. So they'll 10 times more complain than they will compliment. So I think, yeah, good idea. I'm going to email the head office. I'm going to forget that. So, I thank you all for being on this journey with me. And you know what? Sure, there's just a few of us in here. But you guys know I don't care about that. I do, though, now care about reaching 500 subscribers. And it's not money. Yeah, I do. I want to make money so that I can use that money to continue to be a survivor advocate, and so that I can get ready for the Washington trip. I would love to be monetized so that I could make this my living. Also, yes, and it is quality over quantity. That's why I never complain. But I forgot what I was going to say. Darn it! And it was an important point. I'll probably be going to sleep after this, by the way. I am in talks to do my first podcast interview. And it is with, I forget the unfiltered stories. Yeah. Unfiltered stories. I found them because Meg Applegate did an interview with them. So I emailed them. I also emailed Goond, the podcast Goond. And there's a couple more that I still need to do, but I am jumping into the podcast circuit, and I'm really excited. I'm also going to have one of the survivors of Bethel Boys Home in Mississippi, John Moody. He goes by John Wesley on TikTok, and we've become friends through TikTok. And he has agreed to be on my stream for an interview. And look up the Bethel Boys in YouTube. He is Bethel Boys John. So thank you guys. I'm very excited about it. I just heard back from them today that they are very interested. And the producer just emailed me. So when I get done, I'm going to email her back so we can go through, how it works. Because I've never done a podcast before, but I'm really excited. And none of this would have happened if I didn't have such loving support from my friends, my family. You guys are all like family. You are my friends. And my friends in life also support me. My dad is not talking to me right now, so I can't. But and my mom is not comfortable talking about it, and that's fine. I'm not angry at my mom. I'm not anything negative with my mom. I love my mom. We have a wonderful relationship. It hurts her too much. I understand that. So, we did have a conversation. At the beginning of the conversation, she did say that she didn't believe that the programs I was sent to were part of the troubled teen industry. And I said, well, Mom, I have the records from my first place. She's like, well, I would like to see those. And I was like, wow, really? Yes, absolutely. And she's like, what? Why are you reacting like that? And I said, because I said, Dad didn't even want me to read them to him. And you're asking me to send them to you so that you can read them. It's a really big deal to me, that you care. And I told her not to watch the program on Netflix and not to watch Teen Torture Inc. on Max. I don't want her to feel that pain. I asked my sister to watch the program on Netflix because she was a year old when I was sent away. And she's only ever known post-trauma Jen. Go ahead. And she watched it, and she had a lot of questions. She's like, it's crazy that this happened when I was a year old, and I'm just finding out about it. And I said, well, you want to know what's even crazier? Is that I just found out about it a year ago. But I believe that she sees me better now. I mean, she still has that preconceived notion of me being an unreliable, irresponsible flake. And that's fair. Because inside I never was. But I didn't know how to be it. And I didn't have the language. And I never discussed what happened. Because when I came home, everybody just acted like, I had to go to the hospital or something because I broke my foot. I don't know. It's really weird. But it was never discussed. And yeah. So I know that a lot of us deal with issues with our families, and whether or not, we understand, they can understand, or, I don't need the acceptance or understanding of my parents, probably because of my age, also because of my relationship with my parents being up and down for my whole life, even though I absolutely adore both of them. I would still pick my parents to be my parents if given a choice, because I love them. They're the best parents for me. And I never thought that my dad and I would go to a place of not speaking again, and I really hope that it doesn't last. I sent him a text 3 months ago. He is not. It is what it is. As he says, that I am smart, articulate, speak from my heart, and have that fire. This is the first of many opportunities. Well, You know what? I agree. I can feel it. I can feel something changing, not only within me, but just in the energy surrounding me. I know that I am now taking the next, thank you, Jamie. I hope that he does too. I'm taking these next steps. And I'm ascending, like I always say that I'm evolving, and evolving takes a lot of work, but I'm also ascending. I'm ascending to a higher calling that, while it has technically nothing to do with me, it does. Because there's always a little bit of selfishness in everything that we do, and that's not a bad thing. To look out for ourselves is imperative. Like, we have to do that, right? We don't look out for ourselves first. Sometimes we end up on a card, right? Too many people I know are gone. These two died. I mean, I've got too many pictures, and yes, this exactly. We become who we need. Exactly. And that's exactly it for me. And this is why, and Izzy and I were talking about this earlier, why I attract kind of stray kids. And some of them were technically stray kids, but how I have this way about me that pulls certain younger people to me, and I become a mother figure. And I love that, because I didn't give myself a chance to be a parent, because I was too afraid. I was too afraid that I would hurt them. I was too afraid that I would ruin their lives. I was too afraid that I would abandon them and run. Sorry, that's a hiccup. I was afraid of everything. I was afraid. But I am sad about it. But I have so many kids. I don't need to be dad. No, we are. From survivor to acceptance to advocate. Yeah, that's really beautifully put. Thank you. Thank you, Misha. Thank all of you. Every single one of you, for being here with me on this journey, for being here with me today. And I did not want to do this live stream, not even going to pretend that I did. And I'm sure that it kind of shows. I'm just tired. But I made a promise to myself that I was going to do 2 shows a week and a recap on Sundays. So I couldn't do it on Tuesday because I was too busy preparing for yesterday, but I'm doing it today. I kept my promise, and that fills me with pride. I feel proud of myself. I'm so proud that I followed through and I did it, right? It's a good feeling, and I'm going to let myself celebrate that. Yeah. I'll probably let myself celebrate that by watching something silly on TV, falling asleep. Because I just need to unwind and just, I am proud, Jamie. I am. Believe me, I'm very proud. I am proud, but I'm going to tell you right now, my brain is, the voices are fighting with each other. I know that sounds weird, but like the accepting words of encouragement or compliments, I'm working on it. And then the other side of me is like, what's the big deal? You drove up north, but I'm going to take it. Thank you. I think you're taking on that call. Yeah, I am. And it's okay. These are all things that I needed, and I'm finding a way to fill my soul, right? By advocating for other survivors, by being, I don't know, like almost like a maternal type of figure to people, that can come to me. But also, listen, Izzy, anybody, Geneva, if you're watching this, Jenna, if you watch this, any of my kids that watch this, I get just as much, if not more, from you guys than you get. That's a fact. It is. You're right. You're right. I accept that. I accept that because both Dawn and Rebecca did text me saying as much last night, and it felt amazing. Then there was that weird guilt thing, like, this isn't about me. You know what? I'm gonna let something be about me for a minute. And it's just me supporting someone else, right? I just want to be an example that you can live your life and still help others. Doesn't matter the perfection of the video. We look for real, raw truth. Not many care anymore. To me, this is a great filter for who we find in our community. I agree. I mean, we've had to go through some garbage. Like, we've had to change filters like 16 times to filter through all the crazy, all the lies and liars and drama and bullying. It's crazy stuff. But here's the thing. I'm not even sure that I would change it, because I would have never done this channel. I would not have met and made friends with people that I've met and made friends to. So we are done with that, Jamie. We're completely done with that. I think. I don't know. I mean, I know that I haven't checked Reddit. I don't know if you have. I don't care. What are they going to talk about? The fact that we don't do anything or say anything? I don't care. None of it matters. What matters to me is a 17-year-old boy knowing that people believe him. Not some idiot who lives in his mom's basement crying about me having had a GoFundMe earlier this year. He can suck a bag, so I don't care. Good. I'm really happy to hear that you haven't been on there either, because I don't think that we need to read any gossip or negative stuff. It's all gross. Anyway, so we're going to stay in our positive vibration, and I'm gonna sign off for the evening because I've gone a half an hour over the hour that I planned to commit to. But I want to thank everybody for showing up. I want to thank everybody who watches this video later. If you do watch on replay, please like and leave a comment. I'm working on it. Okay, like, subscribe, check your subscription, make sure you're subscribed. The bell is another friend, another soul connected. Yes. So with that in mind and all of that said, I would like to tell you all that from the bottom of my soul, I love you. I appreciate you. I see you, and I believe in you. And remember to be kind to somebody every day, because it'll change your life. And I can tell you that because it's changed mine. Being kind pays off in ways that money could never give you. So thank you, Crystal. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye for now, and I'll see hopefully all of you and maybe some more people on Sunday for my recap. Okay? Thank you so much.